Okay, Ascomycetes has a lot of members, and one of the ones that we've talked about before belongs to the genus Penicillium. Now, this is Penicillium notatum, and is was the one that Alexander Fleming discovered and eventually became penicillin. So penicillin was actually named after the genus Penicillium. We know that this was an accidental discovery of his in 1928. He was actually in 1918 was when he found that his petri dishes that he had been working on was growing this green fungus, and everywhere the green fungus was, there was no bacteria. So he surmised that something in this green fungus must be killing bacteria. 10 years later, it was perfected, 1928, into the antibiotic that we know today as penicillin. And as he was perfecting it, he was actually studying staph infections, which we know as Staphylococcus, is bacterial, and penicillin is very effective against staph infections. Now, there is a species of Ascomycota that can be toxic, and it's called Aspergillus. Aspergillus is a genus name. There's a lot of different species name, but it releases a poison, and the poison is called aflatoxin. And this is released by some species of Aspergillus, and you can see it here on the corn. This is what it looks like. And if we ingest it, these toxins can produce liver cancer. And the fungi that make aflatoxin are primarily contaminating corn. They get into peanuts, cottonseed, tree nuts. So they're agriculturally a problem. And if we consume them, this toxin is very, very poisonous to us. And of course, liver cancer is extremely serious. So Aspergillus can be a bad boy. Now, before we leave Ascomycota, there are just some things I want you to know that are in this group. First of all, we have Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This is our baker's yeast. A lot of foods are fermented and from Ascomycetes and like soy sauce, and then we have those that, this particular one that is for helping bread rise. So Saccharomyces cerevisiae is yeast. Aspergillus, we just talked about Aspergillus. Aspergillus is the one that caused liver cancer with the aflatoxin. Okay, athlete's foot, ringworm, nail fungus, and jock itch are all Ascomycota members, and all the Taenias. These are the dermatophytes that causes skin rash, so they all belong to Ascomycota. So definitely Ascomycota's got some positive roles, and it's also got some negative ones. Truffles. We haven't talked about truffles, but truffles belong in Ascomycota. And truffles are subterranean, and you find them a lot in Italy, and you can't plant them. And it is a type of underground hyphae that they dig up. Actually, dogs can smell it, and pigs. Usually you see truffle rooting pigs, and they cost a whole lot of money, and they're very, very, very costly. When I was on a pilgrimage in Italy, and we ran into a man that had a truffle farm, and his whole family had it, and they did not know when they bought this piece of land in Italy that it had truffles. But they didn't have to work. I mean, he drove a Ferrari, the house was beautiful, and what they did was they had this pig. He told me when I was talking to him that he paid $25,000 for the pig, which I thought was unbelievable, but apparently not compared to the money that he was reaping out of his truffles. So he said these truffles would grow, the pig would go out there and smell them. We can't smell them because they're not above ground. And the pig would root them out, and then they would take them to market, and they're hundreds and hundreds of dollars he would get for just a small amount of truffle. So we did taste some truffle oil. I found it to be very bitter, but some people, especially there, like it a lot, and it's the kind of oil that they dip their breads in and things. So truffles have a role in the environment for being a very expensive food source. And we have Penicillium notatum. So this is the scientific name for penicillin, which of course was our first antibiotic. So these are just a few members of Ascomycota. There's many, many more, but these are the ones I'm going to hold you to.